I'm here with Shawn from Carnifex to talk about the existing tour that you guys are currently on. I'm calling this the Deathcore Summer Tour or Spring Tour of the Year. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than this.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, there's a lot of other big tours going around.
Not as big as this one. Not as big as this one.
So
you guys are just past about the midway point of the tour. Mm-hmm. Looking back at the first half of the tour, what are your thoughts? How are things going?
Oh, they're going great. The fans seem to be really excited about this tour. Everybody's received a really great reaction. Sulfur, Left to Suffer, us and Chelsea Grin. So, I mean, Chelsea Grin just put out their new album, and it's crazy heavy.
You guys have a new record too. It's not very soft.
Yeah. We haven't announced it yet, but I mean, we've been kind of telling everybody on this tour. We're actually playing one of the new songs live as well. It's the first time we've ever played something unreleased.
Unreleased.
Since we I think we played Dead But Dreaming off of Until I Feel Nothing before we released any of that. That was the last time we played something that's ever been unreleased.
How's been the fan reaction to that new track?
It's been insane. I can't believe that people are so excited, and they're headbanging, they're moshing to the whole thing, and they're just really excited about, that song.
When the tour got announced, and you're looking at this lineup and you're kind of envisioning what the tour is going to be like, more so than a band member and a musician, as a fan, what had you most excited about this collection of bands hitting the road together?
As a fan, every band just kind of brings their own sound. Of Sulfur has that, blackened, really death metal, but also they have like sing-songy parts that none of us have. Of Sulfur's just brutally heavy. They have great music, and then us, we have our own style, the blackened deathcore, lots of riffs, solos, and Chelsea Grin is just fucking killing it.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Now, you've had the experience now of playing, like I said, a little bit more than half of this tour. Has the tour, in your mind, been a success for you guys?
Yes. Yeah. No, this tour has been very successful. Everybody, all the fans are coming out. They're showing up. They seem to, respond extremely well to all the bands, and are excited. The merch numbers are good, so can't complain about that.
That actually takes me to the next point, because I think that was a way of looking at a tour package or a tour before the pandemic and looking at it in terms of being successful or not successful. Post-pandemic, have things changed in terms of how you define a successful tour?
I don't think it's changed for me or for the band, the definition. The industry is kind of changing their definition of a successful tour. But sold out shows, packed rooms, that's successful.
You mentioned the merch is selling well. I have to ask you about the hot topic of the moment, which is merch cuts. What's your cut or your take on that, I should say?
My take is that they shouldn't even be a thing, because you have a promoter and a booking agent talking about a percentage of something that they have nothing to do with. They didn't put up any of the money to have the merch made. They're not the ones selling it, so they shouldn't.
Do you see that changing in the near future?
No, it's probably not. The only way it would change is if musicians were able to unionize and make I guess take more power than they actually have. Because right now all the bands are different businesses, and until you can get them to all go in the same direction, that won't change. I'm fine if some venues, they want to charge, they'll charge a rate to rent the space, $100, something like that. But
that's more reasonable.
Yeah, but to act like 20% is their cut, 20% of.
In some places more than that, like
Yeah,
50%. You hear about 50%, 40%.
Yeah, in Sweden, because of government regulations and stuff, the merch cuts are they're telling some bands 50%. It's funny, in 2014 when we were touring with Parkway Drive and Heaven Shall Burn in North Lane, we played a show in Sweden and they told the tour manager that the merch rate would be 49%, I think. So
49 makes it a slightly better than 50.
Yeah, 49%. But so the tour manager said, no, we're going to sell outside. So they set up. It was in December, by the way, in Sweden. So they set up all the merch outside and sold outside.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. I honestly feel like, bands these days are in a little bit of a bind, like you said. There's not much you guys can do. You guys want to tour, and that's kind of like, not a hidden cost, but a cost that unfortunately comes with it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like some of the bigger bands could kind of take the lead on it? Bands that are well established, like more like legacy bands, or you think like that doesn't really hit their bottom line that much, so they don't really care about the ecosystem in general?
Well, I mean, if there would be change, I mean, other than a union, then it would have to come from, bands like, Slipknot, Lamb of God, like bands on that level, to change the scope of things. But, you can't they're when you're dealing with corporations like Live Nation and Ticketmaster and stuff like that, it's just really hard to throw. It's really hard to throw weight against some businesses like that.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you still want to play, and you still have to hit the road. I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like you can either agree to these terms or you can not play.
Yeah, exactly.
And
there's not much of a choice.
Not get paid,
Yeah, there's not much of a choice. All of these things that are happening now, does that worry you about the future of extreme music when it comes to the live scene?
I mean, it is concerning since all the lockdowns happened. That a lot of independent promoters have gone away, independent venues have gone away. So now, you got only a few companies that are going to be able to determine the scope or the landscape of touring, and they're not making it easy for most bands to tour as much as we used to.
Yeah, because fans are hearing a lot about the merch cuts, but they don't realize that there's also problems with getting vans and buses and people to sell merch and bus drivers. Like, there's a shortage of everything. Like you guys didn't have a hard time before. Now you add all of these problems on top of it. I'm sure it's making it even more difficult. You see a lot of bands canceling tours these days.
Yeah, I mean the lockdown. Everybody, the whole music business got really hurt by the lockdown. So, bus companies, basically all the companies that bands use, have decided to raise costs and just ask for money up front when they used to ask, like, when you could make payments during the tour, like they're like, oh, well, we need all the money up front now. So prior to a tour, instead of being able to start paying when the money comes in, now you're having to pay $10,000, $20,000 in upfront costs.
Wow. That's crazy.
And we, bus companies have, everybody's raised their prices basically 30%. I know they say inflation's only 8%.
Not for you guys.
No. The reality is that it, costs across the board kind of went up about 30%.
Wow.
So
moving to a better topic, you mentioned you guys are playing a brand new track, unreleased track from the upcoming album that you guys are working on.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you guys have a deep discography. So what fans that are coming to the shows that are still left on this tour can expect? Because some fans, want to hear some stuff from the new records. Some fans want stuff for the old records.
Yeah, we try and keep it pretty mixed, So we play something. There's only, we don't really, since we have kind of a limited time since it's a co-headliner, we're kind of skipping some earlier albums, but we play a couple songs off of you know, a couple songs off of Slow Death, a couple songs off of Die Without Hope. You know, we just did our 15-year Dead in My Arms anniversary, so you know we're still playing a few songs off of that one because you know some of the older tracks kind of resonated with some of the older fans, and you know Chelsea Grin, they've been around almost as long as we have, so you know a lot of their fans share the same sentiment, you know, MySpace deathcore. You know,
I never heard that before. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna hear it tonight. So yeah.
One last question for you. You play a lot of shows. You've toured in a lot of cities. I'm not going to ask you which one is your favorite one to play in because that's a horrible question to ask. Yeah. But do you have like a crazy cool story that comes up all the time when you guys are backstage or on the bus telling stories of previous tours? Is there something that resonates with you that you remember?
A crazy story? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I guess my crazy story is back before, you know, it's kind of when touring was like the Wild Wild West. Like everybody was touring, nobody had agents. So most of the tours are like DIY tours, and I think we got into a brawl in a bar in in Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore, that explains it. Okay, once you said Baltimore, it all made sense.
So I mean, it was crazy. We were on tour with Salt the Wound and a few other bands I can't remember, and the venue tried to kick out all of our merch people and make them pay to get in.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was standing outside, and then somebody from one of the bands runs out and goes, "Oh, they're fighting!" So we all run in, and you know, some of the tours fighting with the venue staff, and we're all yelling at each other and whatnot. And then somebody walks around the side and then punches the guy standing next to me. So I wound up and laid him out, and then but I broke these two knuckles.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Not a good thing for a drummer.
Yeah. So I laid him out, and I'm like, oh, that hurt. And then so I kind of like walked out, but I didn't know that I think that was the bar owner.
Well, what a story.
Yeah. So I think we eventually ended up leaving and kind of hiding somewhere because I don't know.
Those were some crazy times.
Yeah, they were crazy times, but you know, it really depends on you know what subject we're talking about. You know. All right.
I think I get what you're going with this. So on that note, Shawn, I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time today before the show to chat with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, looking forward to the set tonight. Looking forward to seeing you guys again. Best of luck with the rest of the tour. You still have about half of the tour left, so I'm sure you're going to have great shows coming up.
Oh yeah.
But you know, welcome to Toronto. Welcome to a sold-out show, second one in a row for you guys, and thanks for your time.
Hell yeah, thank you.